sure I can accept that we're going nowhere. But one last time, let's go there. Hey, can you guys see my freaking sunburn? Do I look red for those of you watching? I hope it's kind of emitting as insane aura instead of a terrible sunburn, but I went to F1 yesterday. Poor Juan. No, I went to F1 racing. It was insane, by the way. These cars are ridiculous. Just seeing that in real life, it was nuts. My girlfriend got me that for my birthday in August, and my friend came into town on Friday. We went to go see F1 yesterday, so that was super fun. But the sun doesn't seem to like my skin when I spend a very extended amounts of time in the sun. So here we are, a little bit sun-kissed. However, podcast-oriented mind wants to talk about time management. Time management. What am I, some self-help guru? No, I'm a self-help cruru. But I can't remember who said that to me recently, but they did. So the reason this is kind of top of mind is because I am going on a hike today around noon, and it's 8, and I have a lot to do, and I've got to be very efficient. I've got to be world record setting in terms of my ability to get stuff done. So what better thing to talk about than getting stuff done? I love to have my Sundays be open at least in the second half so I can do the things like the hiking. But pretty much, I was going to say Sunday in specific, but pretty much every single day consists of the need to really freaking stay on top of the to-do list. So then I can leave that open space in the end of my day. Because that, for me, is really the only thing that maintains consistent happiness and clarity is space. I think people are constantly searching for a way to fill their space, but I am actually searching to create more space because I think the most fulfilled individuals in the world are the people that have space. They have the space to stare at the freaking wall and just think. That reminds me of a quick check-in that you're supposed to do of your no-phone dinner. So if you've been doing the no-phone dinner every single freaking night like you're supposed to, let me know in the comments. If you're on YouTube, you can comment there, and Spotify. Drop it in there. No phone dinner check-in. So yeah, I'm trying to create as much space as possible, which means staying on top of everything. I don't want to be robotic, but I want to be pretty damn close when it comes to knocking out the to-do list. So the first thing that I think we all have to practice and implement is this idea of the mental override. So the mental override, the best way I could really explain this, let's say you walk outside and it's 15 degrees Celsius. No, excuse me. 15 degrees Fahrenheit. In Celsius, that would be negative something, whatever. You get it, cold. Let's say you walk outside. It's stupid freezing, but you have to pretend like you're not cold at all for 30 seconds. Could you do it? I would hope the answer is yes. And if the answer is yes, then you know exactly how to do the mental override because you feel insanely cold in this hypothetical, but you're just kind of overriding your physical response to your environment and just pretending like you're totally fine for a second. You drop your shoulders, you relax your hands, relax your face, and it's just a short amount of time so you can kind of override the way that you're feeling. Another example of this, let's say you wake up super early in the morning, you are super, super tired. Can you just, for 10 seconds, kind of perk up and pretend like you are not tired at all? Pretend like you're fully well rested. If the answer is yes, which I hope it is, then you know how to do the mental override. The override is just taking what you feel. I hate to say pretending, but pretending like you don't feel that for a short-ish amount of time. And then you're able to be a lot more productive or effective in whatever you're trying to accomplish. The productive or effective that I'm actually talking about, of course, is being efficient in getting things done, managing your time, managing your to-dos. And so if you can practice this mental override, well, when you have a day full of stuff to do, there's probably going to be a slight feeling of not wanting to do it. You can kind of tap into this override. You can be really, really efficient. Override maybe the lag that happens in between each thing you're supposed to do and just get it done. Continuing to override the desire to sit on your ass and you just do the next thing, do the next thing, do the next thing. Now, is this sustainable super long term? Of course not. But when it comes down to one day, for example, where you really need to take it up a notch and get some stuff done, that's my day today, then you really need to tap into the energy reserves, this idea of the override. Another way I like to add some imagery to this, if you're someone that lifts weights, let's say you're going for a heavy squat and you hit that middle point, that sticking point on the way up. In that moment, I believe there's a choice in a lot of cases. So if I'm spotting somebody on squat or bench or whatever, and they're at that sticking point in the lift, I'll say, choose it. Because there is, it's very microscopic, but it is a decision. If you really, really dig deep, you can surpass that sticking point. If you give into it at all, then that sticking point is going to win. So I always say choose it, because again, it's digging into that extra energy reserve and pushing through that rep. So it's another way I like to think of almost forcing a day of perfect time management. It seems a little bit dramatic, but I think this is the stuff that people aren't really talking about. It's just, write stuff in your planner and make your Google Calendar really perfect, but setting yourself up or planning to do something is not the same as actually executing on that thing. I've talked in past podcasts about plan versus decision, so I like to lean on decision because plans always don't go to plan, but decision, that's a little bit more concrete. That's a stronger choice, I guess, to go do something. So in the middle of that rep, that's the analogy. We are choosing to surpass the sticking point, choosing to get up out of the chair that is oh so comfortable, choosing to get up out of bed, whatever it is, and just get some stuff done. The discipline behind this, I mean, that's kind of the umbrella term for damn near everything in the self-improvement space. So I kind of hate saying discipline at this point, but it's the only word to really describe what I'm talking about. It's the ability to just do what you're supposed to do even when you don't want to do it. So if you can implement that into your daily routine of doing things you don't want to do, and then you get good at doing things you don't want to do, and then of course you find that you're way more productive, way more effective just as a person in general. Never mind all of the emotional benefits of liking, loving, and respecting yourself, but just plainly in time management, productivity, you kind of become a beast at getting things done. So again, this is one of those things that I don't hear a lot of people talking about because we always want to find some workaround to the way that we feel. But if we practice recognizing how we feel, and then, I don't know, we implement repetition of overcoming that feeling and doing the thing anyways, as in recognizing the emotion, not letting the emotion drive the decision making, and then making the right decision. I mean, you do that 1,000 times, and then you look at the data you've created and you go, whoa, yeah, okay, I'm insanely capable. But if you let the feeling or the lag or the sticking point, whatever word you like to use, win over and over and over again, well, then you have a pile of data that says, yeah, you can't really get anything done. So again, a little bit deep, a little bit dramatic on the topic of simple time management, but really this stuff matters because we're not robots. We're not just coding something. We are constantly taking into account the way that we feel, taking into account the mental and physical emotions, I guess, or ups and downs of daily life. And so these are things that have to go into that equation of how the hell am I going to get stuff done today? So that brings me into this emotional planning concept. I think the biggest thing I've ever not implemented, but anchored my lifestyle with is this idea of eat the frog. It's just getting the hardest thing done first. And I have so many thoughts on this. I think people can make the argument that getting up at 10 in the morning and going to bed at 2 a.m. is the same exact thing as waking up at 5 in the morning and going to bed at 9. And I completely disagree. I can understand that some people feel that they're way more productive in the evenings. I've never experienced that myself, so I'm not going to claim I can fully agree with that, but I also can't claim fully against it because, again, haven't experienced it myself. I do think when it comes to responsibility, it's much more settling to have your responsibilities done than on deck. Because when your responsibilities are in front of you, you have this weight. Maybe you can't really be as creative as you'd like to. Maybe you can't be as lighthearted as you'd like to when you have a full plate of responsibilities ahead of you. And this is in kind of the span of the day, because if you look too far into the future, you're kind of, I don't know, you're kind of just adding overwhelm to your mind in an irrational way because you can't even access the future. There's really only today. So the way I like to think about this, for those that like to work in the evening, you're going through your whole day awaiting the thing that is the responsibility. Now, if you love what you do for work, then I guess that's a huge blessing, first of all, and I guess that maybe this would not fully agree with what I'm saying here. But if you have the responsibilities that you don't like to do and you are outsourcing those to the end of your day, that means that time moving forward, time passing is a negative because you're continuing to get closer and closer to the things that you don't like to do. If you eat the frog, if you do the hard thing first, you wake up, it's a fresh day, you get the things you least want to do done first, then time passing is a positive because the end of your day is where the space and the relaxation and the peace comes in. So time passing in general, and this kind of exits the only 24-hour sense, time passing becomes a positive because you go to sleep, it resets whatever the hell sleep is. I don't know. It's kind of this magical thing. You wake up, it's a new day again. Now you got to attack the hard things first, and then you're creating that space again as time moves forward. I just don't think that the stuff you don't want to do being at the end of your day is productive at all in an emotional sense because you're constantly moving towards what you don't want to do, and then you can see time passing in general again as a negative, as in my life is moving forward, but it's getting worse and worse because I keep moving forward to the things that I don't want. It's hard to make this argument irrefutably because if you're getting closer to the evening and that's the space and the relaxation, well, technically getting closer to the evening is getting closer to sleeping, which is getting closer to the responsibilities in the morning. But again, sleep is, I don't know, this inexplainable reset that I think is the one rule kind of supporting my claim here, that getting the stuff done, getting the stuff you don't want to do done first, and then having the end of your day be more relaxing. True. The way you should maybe think about stacking your responsibilities, despite what I just spent a while explaining, is understanding your own energy levels and priorities in the way that you do work. If that is getting all your stuff done in the evening, maybe that does work for you, and I'm not going to try and fully argue that. But I do think kind of playing around with what is most settling to you in your day of getting the hard things done, getting the easy things done, the big tasks that take a lot of time, the little things that you can knock out real quick. I think sometimes it's nice to do a really big item just to get it out of the way, and then you do a small one. so you can kind of knock another thing off the to-do list. And then that energizes you a little bit to refocus in for a longer period of time, and then you can do a bigger thing. So you could do kind of an alternating thing. Again, the way that I structure my days, it just goes from most difficult to easiest. So my most difficult, that's the whole morning routine. That's the waking up at 5. That's the ice bath. That's the run. That whole chunk is just overwhelming as can be. And then I take a little down level in difficulty, I guess, and just do some meal prep stuff to get my day ready. And then typically I'll jump on calls of my mentorship clients, and that's a real deep dive. That's kind of wringing out the mind in a way. So that's a lot of work, not physically, but mentally. There's kind of a positive overwhelm there. As I move on, my day becomes more casual. So second half of the day, that's when I make it to the gym. And then after the gym, the time becomes a little bit more flexible. Dinner time, I'm just hanging out, chatting with the roommates, the media team, which are both the exact same thing. And then my girlfriend, obviously, we all kind of gather around for some dinners most nights. So again, that's the fun. That is the pure relaxation, just hanging out, doing whatever, and then obviously getting to sleep. So I like to go from most difficult to easiest because, again, as time moves forward, that's a positive for me, and I'm super stoked for time to be moving forward. In the mornings, it's daunting because I go, well, here we are. I have all of this stuff to do, but I would rather that responsibility or that level of responsibility to be the case at square one of the day instead of 3/4 of the way through, and then I'm just battling with the idea of, I need to get to bed and I'm tired, and I still have this huge pile of work to do. So I have always hated when I have big responsibility at the end of my day. But again, perhaps that is just me. A little reality check here. Responsibility does not go away. So the things have to get done regardless. This is why I feel so strongly about getting things done immediately, because if you're just outsourcing responsibility to your later self, it's not only much less productive because you have less time of the actual day to get it done, but you are placing burden on your later self. When you then become your later self, you're going to look back at your past self, which is your right now self, making that decision and say, damn, I'm kind of pissed off at you, earlier self, because now you made current life harder for me when you could have just taken care of the responsibility and made life better for me. So you have a choice there. You can create gratitude for your future self, or you can create being super pissed and having a bunch of shit to do. I like the gratitude version. I think all too many people practice the pissed off version. And again, this episode is about time management. I'm talking about managing time, the simple productivity of life, but it does actually go this deep. It does actually work into your self-image, as does everything. So that's why I think it's so important. Again, the reality check is that the responsibility does not go away. You still have to get the things done regardless. So how can you engineer your day and your own energy to get these things done in the way that kind of sets you up for the most success, again, physically, productivity-wise, and emotionally, the self-image piece. So I think that's really important. I remember when I sprained my foot and my ankle back, God, I want to say February? Yeah, it must have been around then. It was winter time. I think the day that I sprained my shit, I went in the emergency room, or urgent care, whatever the hell it was, and it started snowing. In Austin, Texas, it was snowing that day. Had to go back home, get in the ice bath, crutch my mile, and then for the following 28 days, I crutched a mile a day. And this is the whole essence of responsibilities don't go away. You know what I mean? I guess I could have just dissolved the responsibility, but I don't think that's natural. You know what I mean? I don't think that's human to just say, oh, well, I hurt my foot, so now I don't have to do anything. I set this promise, I set this expectation in my life. I travel a mile every day on foot. And so I kept that promise because the responsibility didn't leave, in this container of my expectation. It just became way harder to do. So I had to get it done regardless, had to figure it out, had to engineer kind of a new mindset around getting this thing done. Added some metal extra feet because one of mine wasn't working. Maybe crutches don't exactly exist in nature, but doing what I can to keep the expectations that I've set and manage the responsibility. So again, don't try to engineer your day around workarounds and just getting out of the things that you said you would do. Keep the damn promises. You know what I mean? That builds some pretty good data into what you think of yourself. But it's just harder by a long shot. I mean, those days of crutching a mile were way more difficult than jogging it. But now I can look back and go, damn, I really screwed my ankle and my foot. And I still kept the promise of going that distance every day. So there's something very powerful about doing that for yourself. Now, excuse me, the practice of this, I think there are little implementations you can make into your day that help you manage your time, be more productive, and these are pretty simple things. Timers, I think, are awesome because you put a countdown to something, and I don't know, there's some biological incentive that clicks in real fast, and you just want to get the thing done by the time the time's up. I don't know what it is, but it creates urgency. Urgency is a major fuel source for being very productive. So today I'm injecting fabricated urgency into my list of to-dos because I want to be done before 12 so I can go hiking. So I'm looking at all the to-do list things. I'm bringing this energy up. I'm doing the mental override again, fabricating that urgency. Timers are a great way to do this. So if you're at work, you're trying to chunk responsibilities and time block and do those sorts of things, just set a timer on your computer where you can see the thing counting down. Put it on your phone. Check it every once in a while. Go, oh, shoot, I have 10 minutes left. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's self-induced rushing, but I think that's a good thing in some cases. You don't want to spend your whole life on a timer. That would be ridiculous. That would be destructive. But if you can add some little 30-minute blocks of, oh, shoot, I got to be damn near robotic about this responsibility, this task in front of me, I think that's awesome. A perfect use of a tool. So I do that all the time. I'll set little timers here and there just to be as efficient as possible for a small chunk of time, and then get back to having the space and the flexibility that I'm always reaching for, always searching for. To-do lists are great because they gamify getting stuff done, I guess, especially if you have it in a way where it's rewarding to check something off the list. So I don't know, maybe you like to write it down and you check it off the list and it feels very tactile, and you write the check mark, throw the pen on the ground and say, yeah, bitch, got you, whatever. Or on the phone, I do the little checklist thing where you click it, it just checks it off. But yeah, it gamifies it a little bit. You see, it's almost a progress bar for your day. Again, why this works so well, I don't know. I think we like to see little metrics and visual, tangible progress for ourselves, and so the to-do list is a really good way to do that. I'm not huge on overdoing it, but it's nice to have something on paper. I think if you just have some tentative to-do list always floating around in your mind, that's not a really good way to organize what you have to do to manage your time. It's just not the way, in my opinion. With the to-do list, though, you want to write them for the current day. So I don't think it's helpful to go too far in advance or too far outside of the scope of what you could come up with on the spot for what you have to do, because then you're just setting expectations that might not actually be that realistic for the 24 hours that you're in. So when I write a to-do list, I do it the morning of the day that I'm writing the to-do list for, because if it's not at the front of my mind, then I don't think it really belongs on the to-do list. I utilize to-dos and reminders a little bit differently. Sometimes they overlap. So I'll set a reminder for something maybe a week in advance, and then I'll see it on my reminders for that day, and I put it on the to-do list. But again, you don't want to be writing a to-do for a week from now, because you're going to load that sucker up, and you're not even going to be taking into account what that day actually consists of, and the emotional level or energy level that's kind of the takeoff spot for that day either. So you have to be able to write that to-do list knowing what that day is actually going to consist of, so then you can set reasonable expectations, and then you actually get them done. Or maybe one thing didn't get checked off, you go, okay, yeah, nothing crazy. But if you have 50% of your to-do list checked off and the other 50% is done, well, then do you just move it to the next day? Is it just a failed day, or how do you even process that? So setting reasonable expectations, I think, is perfect for the time management. So again, the big three categories, it's this mental override, the ability to take what you're currently feeling, maybe a sense of laziness or a sense of tiredness, override that, fabricate some energy, fabricate some urgency, bring that up and get it done. The emotional planning, being able to understand at what part in the day do you feel tired or do you feel overwhelmed? How can we work around those things? How can we stack responsibilities in ways that work for us as individuals, not just what Instagram gurus are telling you to do? Self-awareness is a really big part of that emotional planning. And then prep and practice-wise, adding timers, utilizing to-do lists in a reasonable way, and you should be able to manage your time better and get some damn stuff done. So when you practice this enough, it becomes second nature. You're always looking for the opportunity to create more space by being more efficient in managing your time. If you liked this pod as it's ending, I know, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you were loving it. Actually, how long have I been recording for? 27 minutes. See, I was trying to make today a little bit more efficient. In past 3 weeks, I think I've been damn near over 40 minutes. So this might be a good sign. But wrapping up here, if you loved this episode and you're watching on YouTube, definitely leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and leave a like, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. And on Spotify, you can leave a comment as well. Definitely want to hear from you. And if you could leave 5 stars on the show, that helps me out a ton, I think. Do I know exactly what that does? No. But maybe when people see 300 5-star reviews, they go, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to watch this too. So definitely want to have the 5 stars reinforced there in hopes that I can reach more people, try and change the world a little bit. My self-mastery community applications are open. If you want to be a part of a group of people that actually want to get better through knowing how to communicate and critically think, all while just being accountable, just getting stuff done, just communicating what life is like and overcoming the obstacles of being a person that's looking for more. Do you want to master yourself? Then you can apply for the Self-Mastery Community. I've been running this for over 1.5 years, I believe. I've been keeping it pretty small and exclusive because I want people to really be able to integrate into the group and share what's going on with them, and talk through the things that really matter. My goal is not to have 15,000 people just watching me on a webinar do exactly what I'm doing right now. I actually like to collaborate with people and workshop real problems and have people be able to work on a more intimate kind of personal level. So if you want to be a part of that, you can apply. Link to do so is going to be in the description or show notes of the show. Something I'm super proud of and really excited to keep growing because, again, I love the social media thing and just putting my ideas out there. But when I actually get to engage with people and really teach my ideas in a way that is catered to someone's growth, someone's improvements, overcoming obstacles, it's a pretty cool thing. So yeah, definitely would love to see you there. And what else do I got here? My newsletter. I write that 2 times a week. I send it out 2 times a week. Totally free. Just my ideas similar to the ones in this podcast on not paper, but digital paper, so you can screenshot and send it to your friends, make it your screensaver, copy over some quotes, do whatever you need to do. But my ideas on a non-talking format, that's the newsletter. You can subscribe to that. Link in the show notes and description. Last but not least, I mentioned this earlier, 3 words: no phone dinner. If you are eating dinner tonight, or if you're fasting and pretending to eat dinner for the sake of the exercise, your phone will not be in your hand or in front of your face or anywhere in sight. Neither will your computer or TV be in that fashion. Just sit there. Let the damn air conditioning noise just take you away. You know what I mean? Stare at the wall. Just be present. Bring yourself down to a level of humanity, being undistracted. Indulge in the present moment. And maybe you're with your friends or your family or all by yourself. All of those are great options to practice the no phone dinner. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. And I think that's all I got for you. I'm going to go take off and have a productive freaking day. Get some stuff done. Edit, export, clip this podcast episode. Do all my to-do lists. And then go on a damn hike. So I'm going to have a great day. I hope you do the same. See ya.